Now we are talking about suspension. In last session, we have understood what is a solution, concentration of solution, mass percentage of solution, etc. Now we will discuss what is suspension. So, non-homogeneous systems like those obtained by Group C in Activity 2.2, that is, in which solids are dispersed in liquids. Solids are dispersed. You know what is dispersion? Solid was not completely mixed. Okay, completely mixed. It was shown. It was still shown in that just like chalk powder or wheat flour. When we try to mix these things with water, they will not. They will change the color, and the particles of chalk powder or wheat flour can be seen throughout the solution. Those things are heterogeneous in nature. Heterogeneous, they are not uniform. They are not uniformly mixed, in which the solute particles do not dissolve but remain suspended throughout the bulk of the medium. That thing is called suspension. In suspension, uh, in easy words, you can say when solute is not mixed properly into the solvent, the such solution is suspension. Particles of suspensions are visible to the naked eye. For example, if you try to uh, find out in sugar solution, it is not so easy. And if you try to find out salt in salt solution, you can only taste it, but you will not see the particles of salt suspended throughout the solution. They cannot be seen through naked eyes. But in colloidal solution, but in suspension, particles of solute are seen unmixed with solvent. So we can see if any solute does not completely dissolve in any solvent, it will create suspension. Now we are talking about properties of suspension. So suspension is a heterogeneous mixture. Heterogeneous, non-uniform. The particles of a suspension can be seen by the naked eye. We can easily see them. The particles of a suspension scatter a beam of light passing through it and make its path visible. And when you talk about that thing, the particles of a suspension scatter. If you try to, if you, uh, if you switch on flash of your mobile, um, and try to make light go through that suspension, you can easily trace the path of light. It is visible. The solute particles settle down when a suspension is left undisturbed. The other thing is that uh, solute particles will surely settle down easily if left undisturbed. That is, a suspension is unstable. They can be separated from the mixture by the process of filtration. They can be separated from the mixture, and it is easy to separate them. It uses only you need only a filter paper or something else which can filter. When the particles settle down, the suspension breaks and it does not scatter light anymore. Another you can Another way to find out whether a given solution is a suspension or not, if the when the particles settle down, try to uh, Try to focus your mobile phone's flash through it. Make a beam of light go through it. You will not observe, you will see that it is not easy to trace the path of light when particles of suspension settle down. So now we are talking about what is a colloidal solution. We have talked about suspension. Suspensions are unstable mixtures, an unstable solution. So the mixture obtained by group D in activity 2.2, there was an activity. So the particles of a colloid are uniformly spread throughout the solution. Now there is another thing. Suspension is also there. Particles of a colloid are uniformly spread throughout the solution due to the relatively smaller size of particles as compared to that of a suspension. The mixture appears to be homogeneous, but actually a colloidal solution is a heterogeneous mixture. For example, milk. You know, some some easy things are there. If you try to mix wheat flour into water, it will create a suspension. You can see particles of them easily. But if you try to mix some drop of milk in a glass of water, it will create it looks like that it is a homogeneous mixture. You cannot easily see milk particles, uh, okay, in that solution, but it will create a colloidal solution actually. Now try to make a beam of light go through it. What happened? You will easily see you will easily trace the path of that going beam of light. Okay, now because of a smaller, actually what happens in a suspension, the particle size are much larger than that of colloidal solution. So you can say if particles may mix and but not completely, but is still uh, better than that of suspension. They mix more than that of suspension, they will create colloidal solution, but their visibility is not totally disappear, so they make colloidal solution. Now because of the small size of colloidal particles, we cannot see them with naked eyes, but these particles can easily scatter a beam of light, visible light. So this scattering of a beam of light is called the Tyndall effect. The scattering of this such thing happen that if you uh, make a beam of light goes through it, it scatters away, then it is the Tyndall effect. It is called Tyndall effect. You know, the scattering of a beam of light through a solution through a is called Tyndall effect, after the name of the scientist who discovered this effect. So Tyndall effect can also be observed when a fine beam of light enters a room through a small hole. It is quite easy. In early hours, early morning, you may have seen that some beam of light is coming into your room. Okay, a small beam of light from some small holes or etc. You can easily see their path. Okay, Tyndall effect can also be observed at that time. But in the day, but in daytime, you will not see the same effect. Why? The light, the sunlight totally covers all things. Okay, Tyndall effect has gone. This happens due to the scattering of light by the particles of dust and smoke in the air. Okay, particles of dust and smoke in the air scatters that light, scatters, moves away. Okay, widespread is radiate, you can say many things are there. Now look at this activity. So it is very easy to find out whether a solution is a colloidal, a true solution, or a suspension. Simple activities are there. Now use a torch. You may use a torch or flash of your phone. Okay. Now you may have seen that this is solution of copper sulfate does not show Tyndall effect. Copper sulfate solution does not show Tyndall effect. You know scattering of light doesn't happen if you make copper sulfate solution, uh, but when you make a beam of light goes through mixture of water and milk shows Tyndall effect. It surely shows Tyndall effect. So we can conclude Tyndall effect can also be observed when sunlight passes through the canopy. You know canopy what is actually it is an just like an umbrella. Canopy of a dense forest. In the forest, mist contains tiny droplets of water which acts as particles of collide dispersed in air. So we can uh, we can easily compare many solutions using Tyndall effect, whether they are we can categorize them whether they are true solution, they are suspension, they are colloidal solution, etc. So now we are talking about properties of a colloid. A colloid is a heterogeneous mixture. It is not homogeneous. So the size of particles of a colloid is too small to be individually seen by naked eye. We cannot easily see them as they are too small. Not but not as uh, but not so smaller than that of a true solution, homogeneous solution. Colloids are big enough to scatter a beam of light passing through it. The particles which through which we can see Tyndall effect are called colloids. So colloids are big enough to scatter a beam of light passing through it and make its path visible. And they do not settle down when left undisturbed. That is, colloid is quite stable. Whether suspension is unstable, but colloid is stable. Okay, so colloid solution is has got some stability. They cannot be separated from the mixture by the process of filtration. There is another thing, another process. If you use filter paper to separate particles of a colloid, you will be failed. You will see that your filter paper will not make them fall apart. So, but a special technique of separation known as centrifugation, perform activity 2.5 is there, can be used to separate. Yes, centrifugation, that is activity 2.5, can be used to separate the colloidal particles. Now we can check what is centrifugation. It is coming ahead. Okay, the components of a colloidal solutions are dispersed phase and the dispersion medium. Okay, components of a colloidal solutions are the dispersed phase and the dispersion medium. The solute like component or the dispersed particles. Yeah, you can say if you can term a solute if you are making a true solution or a homogeneous solution, but in the colloidal solution the solutes can be termed as dispersed particles. The solute like components or the dispersed particle in a colloid form the dispersed phase, and the component in which the dispersed phase is suspended is known as the dispersing medium. So it is very easy to know that two things are there. They have separated, they have uh, a different term for that. You can say dispersed particles and they are mixed in dispersion medium. Previously we know that solute is mixed in a solvent, dissolved in a solvent. Now just like that, dispersed particles are dispersing in a dispersion medium. Colloids are classified according to their state. We can classify them according to their state: solid, liquid, or gas. Of the dispersing medium, state of the medium is very easy to know, and we can easily classify them. If your dispersion medium is solid, so the solution will be formed, that is called colloidal solution, but in the solid state. And if you make your colloidal solution in if the dispersion medium is liquid, so the solution will be called colloidal solution in liquid state as well as in gaseous state. Okay, a few common examples are given in table 2.1. We may easily know that. You can see that they are very common in everyday life. Now look at that. Dispersed phase. What is dispersed phase? Liquid. Okay, dispersing medium is gas. Type aerosol, and they are fog, cloud, mist, or a bunch of colloidal solution. And solid state में, in solid state dispersing medium is gas. Dispersed phase solid, solid mixed with gas, and it create aerosol, smoke, automobile exhaust, etc. Automobile exhaust, smoke coming out from vehicles. Gas and liquid, so formed type of foam, shaving cream, etc. Milk, face cream, etc. Too many things are there. We use a lot of colloidal solutions in everyday life. Okay, so move ahead. Now there are few questions. We will discuss them later. Okay, separating the components of a mixture. There's another thing. We have made solutions, suspensions, colloidal solutions. Okay. Now get it. Now we are separating them or breaking them apart. Okay, few techniques are there. We have learned that most of the natural substances are not chemically pure. You already know that most of natural substances are impure. Different methods of separation are used to get individual components from a mixture. Different methods can be used to separate them. Okay, separation makes it possible to study and use the individual components of a mixture. If we understand the separating processes carefully, we will know how to separate them. So heterogeneous mixtures can be separated into their respective constituents by simple physical methods. Heterogeneous mixtures are easy to separate. Okay, we can use simple methods like hand picking, sieving. Sieving, pass your colloidal solution or pass a solution through a sieve. आटा छानने की छन्नी, simply sieve. Okay, filtration that we use in our day-to-day life. Sometimes special techniques are required. Okay, we will discuss them all. Now there is an activity. How can we obtain colored component or dye from blue or black ink? Okay, how can we separate the color from that solution? Fill half a beaker with water. Okay, beaker, you know what is beaker? Tumbler, glass, you may say. Put a watch glass on the mouth of the beaker. Watch glass should be there. Put few drops of ink on the watch glass. Now start heating the beaker. We do not want to heat the ink directly. Actually, they have indirectly heating the ink. You will see that evaporation is taking place from the watch glass. Continue heating as the evaporation goes on and stop heating them when you do not see any further change on the watch glass. You will see vapors coming out, and if you later on you will not see any vapor going on. So stop heating at that time. Observe carefully and record your observation. Okay, now what would we see? Now answer. Check, three questions are there. What do you think has got evaporated from the watch glass. Is there a residue or something remains on the watch glass? What is your interpretation? How can you describe it? Is ink a single substance, pure, or is it a mixture? So we find that answers are there. We find that ink is a mixture of a dye in water. Thus, we can separate the volatile component, that is solvent. Solvent, what is solvent in that case? It is water. From its non-volatile solute, non-volatile solute is dye or color by method of evaporation. How can we separate cream from milk? You may have heard of the cream coming out from milk. Nowadays, we get full cream, toned and double toned varieties of milk packets in polypacks or tetra packs in the market. These varieties of milk contain different amounts of fat. So they may be called no cream, full cream, toned, double toned, etc. So there is an activity to understand that. You recall 2.5. This is 2.5. Take some full cream milk in a test tube, centrifuge it by using a centrifuging machine for 2 minutes. Centrifuging machines may, if a centrifuging machine is not available in the school, you can do this activity at home by using a milk churner used as in the kitchen. Milk churner, you know what is milk churner? Can anybody tell me? Milk churner, what is a milk churner? किसी को पता है? मथानी. Okay. If you have a hmm? Hmm? If you have a milk dairy nearby, visit in and very easy to know. If you have a milk dairy nearby, visit it and ask how they separate cream from milk. You will see a machine over there. That is machine is called centrifuging machine. So now we will not discuss how that machine work. Okay, we will discuss how the cream comes out from milk. What do you observe on churning the milk? Explain how the separation of cream from milk takes place. How can you? You may have seen Mathani over there at milk churner. Using milk churner, the milk in it is to make, you can say, उसको घुमा घुमा करके मथानी से जब मथेंगे तो तेजी से, जस्ट लाइक ट्विस्टर, इट विल क्रिएट ट्विस्टर लाइक समथिंग. तो क्या होगा? क्रीम बीइंग हैवी, वो आपके सेंटर पे जमा हो जाएगी, और मीडियम यानी वाटर किनारे हो जाएगा. ठीक है. Sometimes the solid particles in a liquid are very small and pass through a filter paper. For such particles, the filtration technique cannot be used for separation. Sometimes we use filter paper to separate the particles, but it is not easy to use them as they pass through the filter paper. So the centrifugation process will be used in such cases. Such mixtures are separated by centrifugation. Centrifugation. Note the principle of that. The principle is that the denser particles are forced to the bottom and the lighter particles stay at the top when spun rapidly. Spinning, spin it, make it spin. Okay, make it spin quickly. And that in that case, denser particles, heavy particles will be settled down towards the bottom, and the lighter particles will be float on the upper side. Now application, applications are there. Application of centrifugation used in diagnostic laboratories for the blood and urine test. They may be used, such techniques will be used, maybe may use in diagnostic laboratories for blood and urine test and also used in dairies and home to separate butter from cream. So you may have seen washing machines. Washing machine. You may have also seen in washing machines. What does it do? It spins the clothes to squeeze out water from wet clothes, that is centrifugation process. Okay, how can we separate mixture of two immiscible, 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 which does not mix? Okay, everything is immiscible which does not, if they does not mix with each other. Let us try to separate kerosene oil from water using a separating funnel. If you separating funnel, you may use a separating funnel. Pour the mixture of kerosene oil and water in a separating funnel. Let it stand undisturbed for some time so that separation layers of oil and water are formed. Separate there will be formed separation layers. You may see. Open the stopcock of the separating funnel and pour out the lower layer of water carefully. Close the stopcock of the separating funnel as the oil reaches the stopcock. So it is very easy to separate two immiscible liquids. Okay, we can use separating funnel. Okay, so its applications are to separate mixture of oil and water. So in the extraction of iron from its ore, the lighter slag is removed from the top by this method to leave the molten iron at the bottom in the furnace. जैसे कि आपके घर में दाल पकती तो उस पे उबाल जो आ जाता है, आप ये देखिए, तो आप इसको इजीली समझ पाएंगे। और जो उबाल का पानी है उसमें देखते हैं कि बहुत सारे पार्टिकल्स या वाइटिश फोम क्रिएट होता है, झाग जैसा पैदा होता है, आप उसको आराम से ऊपर से निकाल सकते हैं। इसी मेथड पर आयरन से जो उसमें हल्की गंदगी होती है उसको रिमूव कर सकते हैं। ओके, एंड द प्रिंसिपल इज दैट immiscible liquids separate out in layers depending on their densities. Denser liquid will remain at the bottom, and the lighter liquid, lighter density, the liquid which has low density will float on it. Now, how can we separate a mixture of salt and camphor? Camphor, you may have heard of camphor or use it. Naphthalene balls, actually. We have learned in chapter 1 that camphor changes directly from solid to gaseous state. It is called sublimation. So camphor sublimates. So to separate such mixtures that contain a sublimable volatile component from a non-sublimable impurity, the sublimation process is used. Sublimation process is used. It is very easy. Some examples of solids which sublime are ammonium chloride, naphthalene, and anthracene. So it is very easy. You make a laboratory apparatus like that, mixture of camphor and salt, start heating. The vapors of camphor will rise and stick toward, and they will stick to the upper side of the funnel, and cotton plug is there, inverted funnel. Solidified camphor is all vapors will be come out and solidify at the top. Why? The temperature over there is uh, you can say lower than that at the bottom. Why? We are heating it actually. So this is called sublimation. Okay, and if the dye in is the dye in black ink a single color, now we are checking out the color of a black ink. The colors are in which are in a black ink. Now take a thin strip of filter paper, draw on it using a pencil approximately 3 centimeter above the lower edge. Put a small drop of ink, water soluble, that is from a sketch pen or fountain pen. You may mark it at the center of the line. Let it dry. Lower the filter paper into a jar, glass, beaker, test tube after containing which contain water, so that the drop of ink on the paper is just above the water level as shown in the figure. Okay, and leave it undisturbed. Watch carefully as the water rises up on the filter paper. Soon water will rise up on the filter paper. Now answer, what do you observe in the filter paper as the water rises on it? Do you obtain different colors on the filter paper strip? What according to you can be the reason for the rise of colored spot on the paper strip? Answers are there. First answer, what do you observe? We will observe that ink that we use has water as the solvent and dye is soluble in it. So as the water rises up on the filter paper, it takes along with it the dye colored particles. Usually a dye is a mixture of two or more colors. The colored component that is more soluble in water rises faster, and in this way the colors get separated. This process of separation of components of a mixture is known as chromatography. Chroma means color. This technique was first used for separation of colors, so the name was given. So chromatography is the technique used for separation of those solutes that dissolve in the same solvent. With the advancement in technology, newer techniques of chromatography has been developed. We will study about chromatography in higher classes. So chromatography find uses in colors, to separate colors in a dye, pigments from natural colors, drugs from blood. Okay. So now we are discussing how can we separate a mixture of two miscible liquids. So there is an activity also there. Let us try to separate acetone and water from their mixture. Take the mixture in a distillation flask like that. And what will happen? Distillation flask, mixture of acetone and water. Start heating it and check thermometer. There is. So water droplet, clamp water. So acetone will rise faster. In this case, the acetone vaporizes, condenses in the condenser and can be collected from the condenser outlet. So water is left behind in the distillation flask. In this way, acetone has lower boiling point actually. So when we start heating, the acetone gets vaporizes so faster. This method is called distillation. Distillation is the process by which we are taking two liquids at the same time and make them vaporize and then condense it. Then after that condensation condensation we collect them. This is distillation. It is used for the separation of components of a mixture containing two miscible, mixed liquids that boil without decomposition and have sufficient difference in their boiling points. We can separate a mixture of two or more miscible liquids for which the difference in boiling point is less than 25 Kelvin. Fractional distillation process is used if they have 25 Kelvin, less than 25 Kelvin boiling points difference. So we may use fractional distillation. For example, for the separation of different gases from air, different fractions from petroleum products, etc., the apparatus is similar to that for simple distillation, except that a fractionating column is fitted in between the distillation flask and condenser. So the fractional distillation is there. Thermometer, cork, etc. Okay, mixture, water outlet, water condenser. Okay, pure liquid component. Fractionating column is there. Okay, simple fractionating column is packed with glass beads. glass beads, marbles. The beads provide surface for the vapors to cool and condense repeatedly. So, how can we obtain different gases from air? Okay, different gases from air, the most important question. The flow diagram is there. Air compress and cool by increasing pressure and decreasing temperature. Okay, not an easy task. So, we can change pressure and decrease temperature, then liquid air will be formed. Allowed to warm up slowly in the fractional distillation column. So, gases get separated at different heights: oxygen, argon, nitrogen, etc. If we want oxygen from air, we have to separate out all the other gases present in the air. The air is compressed by increasing the pressure and is then cooled by decreasing the temperature to get liquid air. This liquid air is allowed to warm up slowly in the fractional distillation column, where gases get separated at different heights depending on upon their boiling points. So, as I have told you, it's not an easy process. So,